think I have it.
Oh, I got it.
Oh, great. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. This is our Silver Sage Girl Scout Council 2025 Cookie Rally Workshop for Service Unit volunteers. We are excited about the upcoming cookie season. I apologize if our backgrounds are confusing because we are in week 1 of fall product. So some of the seasons are overlapping a little bit, but we wanted to give everybody plenty of time to think about and plan for Cookie Rally 2025, which is about 3 months away, which I think may go by super fast. So we will go ahead and get started. We like to start off thinking about the promise and law. We don't have to say the whole thing today, but I do want to be thinking about it. We also will talk about some group and meeting norms, just how we're going to conduct our meeting today. We'll talk a little bit about what a cookie rally is, and then we'll talk about some groupings for service units so they can help support each other, as well as some ideas for different stations that girls can go to and a suggested timeline for when those things might take place. So on our screen is our Girl Scout Promise and Law. And the main things I want us to be mindful of today is that we're going to treat each other like sister Girl Scouts. We're going to respect ourselves and be courageous and strong. And we're going to also be excited, which is not on the list, but we are looking forward to our discussion today. So the meeting norms, again, the promise and law, we're all in it together. When the girls participate, every single troop and service unit and girls, they all benefit from their camps and council programs and being a Girl Scout. So the program is important to everyone. And we want everybody to be the excitement. So when you're excited, the girls get excited, the families get excited, and that is something that's just absolutely invaluable for all of us. And during this meeting, we know that there are going to be questions. I hope that in further slides, we'll have identified those questions and answered them for you. But if not, we would love to have you write down your questions so we don't forget them at the end. But we would like to keep the presentation fairly not full of questions while it's happening, so everybody can pay attention and absorb all the material. So again, please do write your questions down because we definitely want to get to them eventually if we don't talk about it organically. So what is a cookie rally? Cookie rallies are just big cookie kickoffs. It allows girls to learn new skills, especially for those daisies. It's a great time to brush up for the older girls on what goes into cookie season. I think once they've asked 1 or 2 customers, they are back off to the races and excited and comfortable with cookies again. It also is a pep rally, a practice run, a training camp, a party. It's all kinds of great things. Caregivers are encouraged to attend, and so that allows them to be part of it too. And it's a great time for girls to start working on and or earn their family entrepreneurship pins because their family will be there. And we do want to focus on the skills, the 5 skills that girls learn at the rally so that they can be ready for cookie season. So we think that it's important that we have manageable sized cookie rallies. It will improve the experience for every girl and for her family. It'll give them more time for action. And you can read that to mean less time in line, less time walking from the parking lot, less time waiting for there to be a pencil to be available or just any kind of thing. They're not going to be waiting in line as much. It'll also be quiet enough for them to hear and participate and actually learn and absorb the skills we're talking about. It'll also give them more time to revisit a skill. So if we have, 300 girls in a giant noisy room, it's hard for them to roll the dice. And if they don't get it right the first time, how much time do we have to go through it with them a second time or a third time? It's really difficult when you've got a line of 30 girls behind them to try to do that. It also gives them time to move between activities without cutting things short. It'll also allow more girls to participate because it'll be closer by. So girls in Weiser, for example, aren't trying to drive to Boise or Meridian. Similarly, girls in East Boise and or Mountain Home, everybody will be able to go to a rally that is closer to them. So there's less of a burden for transportation. Girls can be easier to carpool with, things like that. It'll make it so more can participate. It also incorporates more of a personalized experience, and that's just based on how your service units do things. So if you, it's really whatever it is that you do. And we're going to talk a little bit about this kind of choose your own adventure thing, because it really is what you want to do enhanced with all of the things and all the support that we'll give you. So we'll go through all of those things. And it'll also let you incorporate older girl involvement better and have more. And when I say volunteers here, I don't mean you volunteer. I mean like a girl's dad or somebody from the bank or something. It'll allow you to have better management of those, what we call episodic volunteers, because they'll be coming to you and maybe doing one activity, and they'll be closer to you and your team and not trying to, again, do it in a giant ballroom with 1,000 girls. And then specifically for the bounce house and or Wahoos, we found that, and the feedback that we got from girls and families was that the girls were terribly disappointed as they were walking by the laser tag and the expensive bowling and the games and the, can I have a snack at the snack bar, Mom? And none of that was included in the free cookie rally that we held. So they were going through a noisy, flashing light, exciting thing that just wasn't included. And many kids, unfortunately, Wahoo's closes at like 8. So there isn't an opportunity for them to do it afterwards. So that was causing strife between girls and families as well. So one example we want to share, and actually I think, Kim, you might be the best person to share because you were there too. And it was Service Unit 622 and Mountain Home did a great job last year that we want to share.
So one of the activities that they did at their cookie rally last year was is actually the one they had me run. And it was based on some of the badge work for the girls earning one of their cookie badges. So the daisies practiced multiplying by 6 and making change. The brownies were given a mystery budget. So they were giving a random number and they had to make 3 selections at a pretend store and then see if they stayed within their budget or not. And then juniors, this was probably my favorite one, they used Jenga blocks and they practiced safe selling strategies. So we would bring up like, at a cookie booth, like the girl who's supposed to be partnering with you can't make it anymore. So now what do you do? And they came up with ideas and things like that. And if they couldn't come up with an idea fast enough, they pulled a Jenga block and popped it on the top of it like the Jenga tower is supposed to be. And it was a really cool activity. And it got them involved and thinking, and it wasn't just, math based where it needed to, it was math where it needed to be math, but then it was strategy and selling tactics where it needed to be selling tactics.
Mm-hmm. One of the things I wanted to share, because I was at that cookie rally last year too, I loved their venue. It happened to be a church. However, the church isn't the reason why I loved it. The reason why I loved it was because it had several different rooms that you could cordon off. They had the accordion walls, doors, and you could almost personalize the size of the areas. And when they were at least mostly portioned off, girls had a much easier time hearing not only the presenter, who usually is a little bit louder, but they could hear each other. And they were able to set goals together. I was at the goal setting table with Susan, and they were doing a great job coloring in where they wanted their goals to be and that sort of thing. And again, they could work together and do that, which hasn't been possible when it's big and loud and that sort of thing. So thank you for your experience there, Kim. So groups of service units have been determined by the membership managers and then also by the service unit teams. And the reason why we are having service units work together is so that everybody has a little bit more support. We want to make sure that this isn't something that the cookie manager is going to try to put on by herself. This is the whole service unit. This and anybody else that you want to bring into your team is also more than welcome. So if you have an individual, again, more like an episodic volunteer, they can come and help too. But this should be your service unit cookie manager, your service unit events manager, and your service unit manager at the minimum. And then working together with one or two other service units. This system is how Eastern Idaho cookie rallies have always worked. So they're probably just nodding and smiling along with me because this is already what they do. And they find it manageable. So yes, it is more things to do, but it also lets you personalize it to what you want within the resources that we're able to provide. And beyond, if you would rather do more, and if you have the resources, you're more than welcome to do that too. Okay, so we talked about choose your own adventure, and this really is when we talk about the format for your service unit event. You could have it be all stations where the girls just trick or treat from station to station, or you could have some stations and then like one big activity or multiple big activities. The stations, you can have the girls go at their own pace. One of the things I liked about the Cookie Rally in Mountain Home was that they had a timer, and the person in charge just said, okay, time to go to your next spot. And they had pre-planned spots and groups of girls that went from spot to spot. And they just did that at the appropriate time. So that's another way to go about it. We do want to help encourage you to get the girls to every station. And we have some ideas for that. You could do a map. You could do something like Candyland. We've had success with a passport and encourage each girl to check each box. Maybe they turn it in for a reward, or maybe that's how they get their patch, is when they turn that in. So there's a lot of things that you could consider. And one of the things we thought of, actually a gal named Susan, who is our customer care person, so I'm sure you've spoken to her before, but Susan came up with an idea of doing a fashion show as one of the bigger activities. So we have some materials from our store, and actually clothing if you want, or some cookie costumes if you want. You can request them and borrow them and put on a fashion show. And maybe it's here's something you should wear to a cookie booth, and then have a girl wear something that's maybe less appropriate and doesn't say Girl Scouts on it, and have girls vote. Do I wear this? Do I not wear this? There's lots of different ways you can spin that activity. But we do want to encourage girls to be at all the stations and experience all of the skills. So this is just a generic kind of formatting idea, and this will be provided to you. It's in one of the Cookie Rally guides, and we'll talk a little bit, I think it's on the next slide or two, of all the things that we're going to provide you. But this gives you just an idea. So you set up for a while, you have girls register and come in, you give them all a big welcome together. You might do the Girl Scout Promise in Law at the beginning. Then you have some ideas of activities and stations. Then after all of those, then you could have a group activity and then wrap up. You could split the stations and do the group activity in the middle. It's a choose your own adventure, anything that makes the most sense for your girls. And it might also be something based on your venue, depending on how many different rooms or areas you have. A big group activity just might not make sense to have it all at once. Okay, so here is a list of all the goodies that we are going to provide you. And there are a couple of pages of these. So again, you don't need to memorize these. We'll have a list for you, and this presentation will be available by tomorrow online. So Cookie Rally resources, you'll have a Cookie Rally guide, and we actually have them from both cookie bakers. Each one of those has ideas and coloring sheets and craft ideas and just all sorts of things you can cut out or do with the girls as it relates to pandas, as it relates to the different cookies, as it relates to marketing their booth, all that sort of thing. We'll also provide one custom designed by Kim H over here. She custom designed a Cookie Rally patch for our council. You'll also receive samples of cookies so that each girl can try at least 3 varieties at your event. You'll also get at least one small participation gift for each girl. In the past, those have included lanyards with the price and menu on them. They've also included things like a pack of cookie earrings and pens and clipboards and just all kinds of stuff. So we don't know what that item or those items are yet, but we are working with some of our community partners through our fund development team to come up with some fun things that maybe some of our community partners might provide as well. But you'll also get for your service unit a bag for each girl, which will make it easier to supply them those gifts, and also potentially flyers that we'll send you. You might also have some items to add, so you can use the bag for that as well. Then by request, we are happy to make some copies for you, black and white copies of materials. We'll just need to have those 2 full weeks in advance so we can get those copied and distributed out to you. And then that'll give you time also to stuff them in the bags if you need to. But if you want to do, coloring sheets or goal trackers or any of the things that we talked about, or the requirements for the family entrepreneurship pin, those have multiple levels. So we'd be copying multiple versions of it for you, but please do know that we have the availability to do some costumes. Oh, sorry, not costumes, copies. Okay. The reason why I said costumes is because the Panda is holding a question card, and that is, did you know that cookie costumes are back? I have worked for the council 6.5 years, and since the minute I got here, people have been asking about cookie costumes, and we are excited that they are back. They're back in 2 sizes and 2 flavors of cookie. This is the Caramel Delight shown in the picture, and then they also have the trefoil cookie, and then they're in adult sizes and kid sizes. Those will be available actually they are available for pre-order at the store right now, and we'll also have some that belong to the cookie department that you'll be able to borrow.
Yeah, it apparently didn't
Okay,
save both costumes when I added them because I made that look pretty.
We've been having some mutual issues with PowerPoint today, though, and throughout the last couple of days. So, so sorry about that. But yes, we will have the cookie costumes are on the store website if you'd like to take a look. But before you head out to do that, this is the good stuff. This is some financial resources that'll be provided for your cookie rally. You will be reimbursed $300 plus $5 per girl who registers and participates in your cookie rally, to be reimbursed to the service unit up to a maximum of $800. So what that means is if you and 2 other service units get together and 50 girls participate, you as a group get $300 plus $250 for the $5 for the 50 girls. And that total is $550. And that's the amount that can be reimbursed. So that means we'll need receipts and your reimbursement request. You'll send that to customer care by the middle of March 2025. You can get your money back sooner if you submit the receipt sooner. And those funds can be used towards whatever it is that you are planning at your venue. If you want to use it for food or balloons or whatever it is that you want to do, decorations, another goodie to hand out to each girl, whatever it is you want to provide, that's there for you. Just keep in mind that we are not going to be charging any girl to attend or participate in the event. We also have some items available by request. So the retail team has a form, and the QR code is there for you to ask them if the store is available to come to your rally. If you would like the store, let them know your information, and that will get in there for them. We also will have a form, and that might be the same form, but for you to be able to borrow some cookie merchandise for your rally, if you wanted to do the fashion show or what have you, that'll be available by request. And then the store also has other items for you to borrow throughout the cookie season, including your cookie rally. So if you would like to get one of the air dancers, and those are the ones, like in a car lot that dance, they have a big fan at the bottom. We have a few that are Girl Scouts. So they have Girl Scout uniforms on them, and they're very eye-catching. We also have inside there's a fan, and then also a lamp. So it'll light up in the night, and it's really cool. We also have big feather banners that say Girl Scout cookies. We've got rectangular banners. Like I mentioned, we'll have the cookie costumes. And then we have a pop-up screen. So if you're going to do like a slideshow or a PowerPoint for the girls, that's available as well. And then if you think of something else that you would like, just ask. We want to give you and the girls the very best opportunity, the very best experience that we possibly can. And so if it's something that's in our budget and it makes sense, we will make it happen. And also here we've got the Panda asking another question, and that is, if there are other loaner items like the big banners or like the air dancer, something else that you think would be helpful for us to offer during the cookie season, please do let us know so we can order it and get it in here and, get some over to Eastern Idaho and that sort of thing so that everybody can have a decent chance of being able to borrow it during the season. All right, and then what we ask of your team, we ask that your team let us know by the 1st of November how many girls you're expecting so we can make sure we get enough materials and goodies and whatever it is that we're sending out and patches, and the date and the time and the venue. Those are all important to us. And you'll also need to create a service unit, an intent to operate a service unit event. That'll be important as well. We'll talk about that in another piece. Again, we ask that your team not charge any attendee to participate, that you communicate with volunteers and families in your service unit so that every girl is aware of their cookie rally and that they could attend if they're available that day, and that you encourage girls to bring their friends so that they can be opportunities for recruitment. We want to make sure that every girl can bring her friend and can share Girl Scouts with their friends. We also ask that you allow time and space for the council. If we want to bring a camp table or a travel table or a STEM day table or something like that from our program team, we ask that you allow us space and time for that, as well as for any of our community partners. So we might have, for example, Key Bank might come and bring tote bags and little piggy banks or something to all the girls, and they might ask us for a table at your rally. So we ask that you make that available. And then we also need you to use the GSUSA brand standards when you're creating any flyers or materials for the event. You can find a refresher in GS Learn, and we can also have our marketing department. We have lots of different samples that we've used for other events, and we'd be happy to just slide your information in or let you have the file so that you can do that. Oh, and Kim, I think I'll let you take the next slide so I can take a sip. Thank you. That's great. Oh, this is perfect. This is your slide.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So I had reached out a couple months ago to our friends that have done these cookie rallies before, and this was one of the suggested timelines that I got. We made some tweaks to it and stuff like that, but this is one of the things that the Pocatello service unit has done for the last couple of years, and I thought some of their suggestions were great. So the suggested timeline is in September and October, so right about now. You're trying to confirm your date, you're seeking out and evaluating venues to have your rallies at, possibly booking the venue if they need you to book it ahead of, a certain number of days ahead of time. And then also reaching out to your cadet, senior, and ambassador troops and notifying them about the opportunity to be cookie captains. A cookie captain is a older Girl Scout who runs a booth at the cookie rally. They come up with the idea for it, they build it, and then they present it at the rally, and they do whatever activity it is they need to do. Then in November, you'll provide us, the Kims, with a date, time, venue for your event. And while you're informing us, you might as well complete and submit your intent forms for your service unit event paperwork. Then setting your date and time for your cookie captain training, and then distributing that cookie captain information to your older girls. I can see if I can get some of that information as to like what information is on the cookie captain's form that they've used before if you're lost and not sure what to do. But then in December, you're going to hold your cookie captain training. If you feel like you're going to need more time to do that, or maybe the girls will need more than one training session, you can do that in November if you think you're going to get too close to holidays and time off of school and things like that. Your cookie captains at that meeting will establish the booth and table activities and who they're going to decide right then and there who is going to be running each one. They have to choose that then so that they can prep their activity, and if they have to build a show board or come up with some activities, or maybe they have to make some origami dice. So whatever they might need in order to run that table, they're going to want to have some time in order to get all of that together. So those stations should be based around the 5 cookie program skills and earning the family entrepreneurship pin. And I think those pair really well together because a lot of those programmatic skills are things that the family entrepreneurship asks for. So I know there's goal setting involved. There's a little bit of the people skills in practicing their pitch. I mean, it is dependent on level, but I think it'll be easy to move those all together. And then you're going to hold a regular meetings or regular check-ins with your cookie captains. Fatina said she checks in with them weekly. If you feel weekly is too much, you could do every other week. But just be communicating with them, checking in on them, making sure that they are working on their activities and that they are on track to have everything ready for your cookie rally and not just throwing it all together in the last 2 days beforehand. Any station or booth that is not going to be run by a cookie captain can be run by an adult that might be looking for some community service hours, or by a community partner. So if you have we typically have a lot of banks that want to all come to the cookie rally, but we typically only want 1, maybe 2 that are there. So we can't have 5 banks at a cookie rally that's hosted by us, but we can have 5 different banks come to different rallies that are hosted by all of you guys. So if we have a community partner that would like to be there, we would hope that you guys would accommodate them and treat them like VIPs because they are coming in to help out. Then in January, you're going to host your rally. Your cookie captains should arrive at least an hour and a half early to set up. And then the event should run about an hour to 2, just depending on the content, how long you want to have each of your stations, how many stations you have going on. If you need to break it up and have some girls come at the beginning, some girls come in the, in the afternoon session because you just don't have enough room at your venue. All of those different things, that's part of that choose your own adventure. And then by March 15th, to submit your email request for your reimbursement, which includes the number of girls that you had participate, any and all receipts for the expenses that you incurred, and the information on who is supposed to receive the funds. Otherwise, that will be going to a service unit treasurer. And if you have multiple service units going in there, I need to know which one, or if certain things are going to certain people, that would be a lot to figure out. But I need to know who it's going to go to. You feeling
awesome
better, Kat?
Thank you, Kim. I appreciate that. Yes, I did take a sip. Okay, so as per usual, we have lots of support for you. Our ABC bakers, they have materials like we talked about, the cookie rally guide. We'll be sending that to you as well. And we have 2 ours and little brownies. And we have plenty of ideas for you. There are also plenty of resources in the way of Pinterest and Google and all sorts of places where you can get ideas, or you can brainstorm with some of the older girls. Hey, we need a way to teach multiplying by 6. What do you think? Girls are so resourceful and they come up with the most fun, exciting things, and they'll find a way to maybe merge it with a Taylor Swift song or something. You know, they always have something engaging and fun for an idea. We also have a QR code here, and the one we've shared is for we're updating it to our 2025 cookie updates. We're leaving it at the same web address so that it's easy to get to, especially if you have bookmarked it in the past. That'll be there for you as well. And then I think we had one more slide. Oh, there we go. Okay, great. So as you may be aware, if you've watched any videos with Kim, we always like to share a very sincere and hearty thank you to all the volunteers that we have. We know that you have plenty of other draws on your time, and we sincerely appreciate the time and effort and everything that you bring to Girl Scouts and to help girls realize their potential. And now I'm going to stop recording and stop sharing and allow for questions. If anybody wants to take themselves off mute or anything like that, or you can ask in the chat.
So the question.
Kim, you might need to stop the charge. You might need to stop the recording because I think you started it.